Right, morning guys, it's the EV Bloke here, Sean, back with another video. So, yeah, I'm just up at the charger, and just to highlight some things that obviously all EV drivers have to persevere in winter, which is lower charging speeds and all that kind of thing. So I've just plugged in, not off a particularly warm engine or anything, so that has to be said, but as you can see straight away at the bottom you've got the intelligent temperature control system of the power battery is working, so it's warming up the battery so it can receive more power. But if you look there, that you've got 1 hour and 22 minutes remaining, and this charger is a 90 kilowatt charger. This car charges up to 89 kilowatts, so I don't need to take up these other chargers which are all 150s, because I can't receive 150 anyway, so I leave that for other users to use, just for etiquette reasons. And so that's it. And yeah, it's just what we have to deal with, really. I'm getting 38 kilowatts at 15%, which is really poor, let's be honest about it. Sorry, it's getting a bit of I've got a new phone, so I'm still working out how to really use it properly. That's not very good. That's not kind of really great focus, is it? So we're just getting a little bit of ramp up now. It's going to get up to sort of 40. This will slowly this figure here will slowly ramp up. Of course it will, and that time will probably change a bit as well. So yeah, down here at the charger, I wanted to discuss not actually about charging, but actually about the new BYD Atto2 that's coming out, which of course has interest to us on this channel. And it's going to come out the second quarter, so in the summerish really, so probably around about May, June time, possibly July. That's when we'll probably see this car out and about. Sorry guys, that's a bit off whack there. So yeah, probably that will be the sort of time we'll expect that vehicle to come out. And not impressed. The looks is fine. So if you've not seen any videos, go and check out any of the sort of big YouTubers. They're covering that car now, and it's fairly uninspiring. It's got really good space in it, storage, software's not bad. In actual fact, there's quite a few updates to what we've got on here, and they're meant to be passing out the updates that's on that vehicle. I think probably the Seal that's had a latest update as well. I think we'll probably be getting these on the Atto at some point fairly soon, I'm hoping. So that will come out to our cars as well, and that's going to have the things like the YouTube on it and the things I've been saying we should have on these cars probably already, really. But you know, especially when you're waiting this length of time at a charger, you know, like I've said before, you know, hour and 20 some odd minutes in 2025, is that really acceptable? No, it's not, you know. And so I do keep going on. I'm going to keep banging on about it until BYD address the issue, because I don't see all the point in having fairly great cars. I don't know if they care. That's my actual problem with BYD. Do they really care in these UK family vehicles about charging speed? I don't know. I know they have the technology to have cars a lot more, because they're putting blade batteries. There's a lot of other cars using blade batteries, and they're using them at much higher rates. So I don't know how much there's a safety aspect relating around charging speed. I don't know. With a heat pump and an intelligent temperature control system that this has, it should be able to receive a much higher charge, in my opinion, you know. If not getting full speeds on a cold day like this. I mean, it's 4 degrees. It's been really cold lately in the UK here. If you live in the UK, you'll know what I mean. It's been pretty cold stuff. So you're not expecting blistering speeds or anything, and no one's asking for that. But I don't expect people also waiting an hour. See, to wait an hour and 20 minutes at a charger, and you're on some kind of road trip or something, it's just not acceptable in 2025. It just isn't. There is so much out there that's so much better, that's so much quicker, you know. So anyway, let's get into the BYD Atto2 to what I know. I'm going to be putting some pictures up here on the video. I'm going to add in some B-roll of pictures for you, so in case you haven't seen the BYD Atto2 yet. it looks quite good and spacious inside. Doesn't have cup holders in the rear, but not a deal breaker necessarily. Does have two USB-C ports, I think, on that one. Could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it is. Has a charger in the front. I'll try and put some pictures up of all these things if I can, for you to see. I'm just recording this down at the charger at the moment, so I'll put those into the video afterwards. So yeah, it doesn't have all of that, but but yeah, it's a lot more tamed down interior, of course, to the one to the Atto2. I consider fairly tamed down from that perspective, but it's still a let me just put that out a little bit, can I? Yeah, I'm still getting used to this phone, guys. So you've got all that to deal with, but the thing is, by the way, I'm getting 48 kilowatts now, getting 44 into the car, obviously through heat losses, 48 on the charger, of a possible 89. So that's what we're dealing with. So lots of work to be done on cars, really, isn't there, when you think about it? We need to get to a point where we plug in and we get the maximum speeds. You know, you don't go to a petrol station and you just get half the speed sometimes, or whatever, because what your state of fullness of your tank is, or something like that. So but you expect there to be more issues that way with electric, and I mean that's probably why 100 years ago, when electric first came on the scene, it never really took off. I don't know, but now we're in a more environmental situation where, you know, electric is being pushed on as the way to go, and you're entitled to your thoughts about that, whether you feel that's right or wrong. You know, some do, some don't. As for myself, I just do this as a project to see how this can all work out. I wouldn't say I'm the most avid enthusiast for electric, but I'm also not an electric hater. I've got an electric car, of course, so I see some benefits to it, but there's just those little things that need to be sorted. So back to the BYD Atto2, which I keep diverting away from. It's got, I think, 4 colours. I think it's got black here in the UK. It's going to have a sort of like an off green, which looks like could be the star of the show in terms of colours. It's got the same one as this, the skiing white, which is like a grey white colour, and I think it's got like an off bluey type of thing, if I remember rightly. No, like a grey silver kind of colour, which looks a bit generic. Probably wouldn't go for that one. I don't know what they do in terms of interior packaging, in terms of like seat coloration and all that. There's a panoramic sunroof on all of them. One of the good things with BYD, their specs tend to be really good at entry level, and then when you ramp up, you're actually getting not that much, which is why a lot of BYD owners probably don't actually drive around in the top spec cars, really, because they can probably save a couple of grand and, you know, do a few mods like putting a front trunk. So let's go over the things I've been mentioning, and even sometimes you guys in the comments have been mentioning. It's about some of the things that we'd like to see changed in this car. Better operability of the infotainment system to the battery pack, so that you can do proper routing and just have a greater connection between that and that. Now, apart from a software update, there doesn't seem to be any more advancements that way, to what I heard. Now, the biggest downfall with the car is they still are insisting on very poor charging performance, you know, which is quite a shame, really. A big company like this that's going to be, they're not worried about the UK, don't get me wrong. BYD, we're just a market in many markets that they're involved with, you know. But here, where we don't have the most horrendous winters, and we also don't have the most blazing summers, we're still a coldish country, and so we need to maximize whatever we can get in terms of our charging when we're out and about, and in particular, you know. So it charges at 65 kilowatt, so down on this. Okay, there's going to be an entry 45 pack. I always struggle with BYD where they're actually aiming their cars at, because the B segment, which is where the Atto2 is going to be in, is really, really, really competitive when you think of the cars that's out there in that segment already. It's a very, very, very competitive segment, I think, really competitive, because you're going to have things like, you've obviously got things like the Kia. Now the Kia EV3, you get over 300 miles, I believe, in at least the top spec of that, and it's much the same interior wise, probably maybe software wise, maybe not quite as good as BYD, I don't know. I've been a lot of complaints about Hyundai and Kia being a bit behind on that side of things, but generally the overall packages on Kias and Hyundais and that is really quite good in the EV space. So immediately BYD are competing with them. Now on terms of charging speed, they're not even going to be able to talk together. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just so far apart. But 65 kilowatts is really slow. Now you might say, well, okay, on a 45 kilowatt hour battery, it's got about a 37. Anything over, everything has to be under 30 minutes. 30 minutes is the standard now. So 37 to 40 minutes on and that'll probably be on a good day, by the way. Don't forget, they're always giving the best scenarios. So that would be on a good day, good weather, etc., etc. There won't be cold weather. In cold weather, you can add another 10 or 15 to that to make that car, probably you're going to be waiting for 45, 50 minutes. So that's not good, you know. We're trying to encourage people into EVs, and one of the big stumbling blocks is, well, I can just pull up to a petrol station, plug in my car, fill it up, drive further than you, and also I can just be an all-round better experience for me than what it is right now for you in an electric car. And no electric car owner, including myself, can argue with that. That is just the simple fact of it. Now the point is, where we are down the road of electric cars, we still need a lot of improvements in batteries, we still need a lot of improvements in the cars, we still need a lot of improvements to get to that point where I think the sweet spot will be once you've got computerized technology around your battery pack, where it keeps it at that optimum temperature all the time. So if it's in winter, okay, you start your car up, it's not going to be at that temperature, but it quickly gets to the temperature it needs to. If you're out on the road, you go to a charger, it's already preconditioning, etc., to get it to the right temperature, so that all the time you're receiving the best you possibly can. It won't still be perfect probably, but it'll be an awful lot better. And that will be the time when people will start saying, well, okay, 15 minutes at a charger, yeah, that's fine, I can live with that, you know. Even if I charge 3 times, that's 45 minutes of my day spent charging. I can do that. It gives me time to go to the toilet, gives me time to grab a coffee, whatever. So but we're a long way from that, you know. That's why I keep on saying about the infotainment system should have all these apps and stuff on it, because at least when you're at a charger, you've got something to entertain yourself. Yeah, you can put your phone on, whatever, but I'm just giving examples. So that is really poor charging speed, 65. Now a 45 kilowatt hour battery is really, really kind of like a town car thing, but it's not particularly built like a town car, in the sense you could probably get 3 certain teenagers at the back of it. Looking at, it's quite a high car. It's taller than the Atto3, by the way, but smaller. But they package things so well, BYD, in that regard. This I give them props for. I think on their packaging they are tremendous, BYD, and that I really do mean that. They are superb. You get into their cars, and I've never got into one and you feel tight in or whatever, and even though that's a smaller car, it's just proportioned just right, that it still copes with a family. So what's the point in having a family type vehicle, and it's got 400 litres, by the way, in the boot, it's your boot space. Well, this only has 440, BYD Atto2, so it's only slightly less than what I've got already, and what I've got's more than enough. So you've got a car now, you've got vehicle to load as well. That's a standard on all the BYD Atto, all cars I think, but BYD Atto2 is going to have that as standard. So again, you can use that out and about. If you want to go on a trip somewhere and you're staying overnight in a camping site or something like that, you can utilize that feature, as I've mentioned this before. But would you want to, at a 45 kilowatt hour battery where you've got to keep charging it in the winter, probably 140 miles, I reckon. It's got a EPA rating of 194, I think, on that one. But anyway, that's the entry level. There is also going to be a 50 kilowatt hour battery, which receives just over 200 and something, I think. is the top mileage on that one. Again, factor in different conditions, just probably going to be about 180. And then finally, later in the year, they're going to bring out a bigger battery version. They haven't said the size of the battery, but they said it will give you 260, which is what the Atto2 does, 260. Well, we all know, for me in the winter here, I'm getting about 170 to 180 out of my car. I don't know what you're getting. Please let me know in the comments down below. But that's what I'm getting. So 106, so 180 from 260. You can see the drop-offs all the time in winter, which is common for all electric cars, even Teslas and whatever, you know, cars you want to bring in on it. If you're living in a cold climate with a cold battery pack, etc., you're going to get lowish speeds, you know. But anyway, so that's what I'm getting. So that's going to be coming out later in the year, probably in the 4th quarter, that you'll get that one. So that'll be the big battery, probably be, I think, from what I can make out in terms of, we don't know the pricing here in the UK yet. In Europe, the entry level is around about 29,000 euros. So when you equate all that, I don't know, probably around about £27,000, I don't know. The exchange rates probably to gauge that, and perhaps you might know. So then that, if we go fast forward to Q4, that means that's probably going to be around about a £35,000 car. You know, maybe they might do some quite good lease deals on it. Chinese cars in general here are going to have to do some form of good lease deals, because I think that's a lot of the way people will get them. They're probably not going to put their hand in their pocket for a Chinese car right now. The people who are buying cars are likely to go more for a, let's see if I can just move that out of the way, it's getting reflection. You would probably look at a bit more than that. So yeah, people are not just going to buy them, they're probably going to lease them, is my thinking. If you're going to go for if you're going to go up into the 40s, you're probably going to go for, you know, I don't know, a Hyundai or something, or just some car with a bigger name than BYD right now here in the UK, you know. Now let me just turn this down. By the way, guys, I know you can turn off the auto feature, but it just does its own thing, the system in here. So yeah, so all round, I haven't driven the car, of course. I've just seen a few reviews of it, but I already don't like the packaging on it, really, the way they're putting it across. They've given you a reasonable car that could be kind of family-ish. It wouldn't be your ultimate car for a road tripping car, but you can all sit pretty comfortably in it. It's got vehicle to load. You know, it's a car you could see you could probably use that way, or utilize that way in some respects. So I'm pretty concerned about the way BYD are heading in terms of, see, BYD are competing with legacy automakers that people trust. Our highest selling car here in the UK was the Ford Puma, I think. I read somewhere. Not electric even, you know. And one of the other cars that's done very well from an electric perspective is the EX30, because that's a cheap-ish Volvo, but still over 30,000 if you buy it, and I don't know what it is on lease. But for a smallish car, it's still quite expensive, really. You could argue, but it's a name people trust. They say Volvo, great, what a great car. So BYD still have a long way to go in building up trust for people to say, yeah, I can really buy that. Now, as an owner or a leaseholder of a BYD Atto2, I can say it's an all-round sound car. You know, I've not had, this hasn't been back for any like recalls. It's never had any issues on it. It recently had a service. There was nothing on there apart from I had to change a tyre, but that's just normal. But there's been no software issues with the car, etc. Not enough software updates, I'd say. But it's been faultless, and I drive it around now. There's no creaks and rattles or anything on it, so it's a well-built car. But to get that kind of level of trust into a community of people here in the UK or in Europe, we're probably a long way off from people just saying, I'm going for BYD, you know. So they're just another product. So when you put it in that perspective, to be low on charging, they've got to excel in a few areas. Now, okay, on space, as I said before, and all that kind of thing, they're doing well, you know. The Blade battery on some elements of it are meant to be the best in the world, so you know you're getting a pretty decent battery, and all that kind of thing. But I just think if you're going to bring out a car that's a B segment car, now B segment cars tend to be town runarounds, I guess. But I don't know. They've just dropped the ball again. Anything under 100 kilowatts. The Renault 5 is going to have 100 kilowatt fast charging. A little car like that, and that's just a little B segment car. The BYD Atto2 is even quite a bit bigger than that. So to have such poor charging, it's just not acceptable at this time and level, you know. Right, I'm up to 67 kilowatts, guys. I've been plugged in for 23 minutes. Okay, so I've been plugged in for 23 minutes. I've gone from 12% to 42%. Still the intelligent battery system's on, and I'm getting 64 kilowatts now, 65 kilowatts in the car. It says 52 minutes till fully charged. So there we go, and I've been recording for 20 minutes or so. So you see what I mean? So I'm going to keep on at them. I'm going to keep on doing videos about all this, because I want them to be stepping up their game a bit, you know, if they want to be a serious contender. The thing is with BYD, I just don't know how much they care, really, because they will survive without the UK or not. I mean, they just, honestly, it's another market to them. They're selling like hotcakes in China, BYD products. These Atto3s, you can go to places like Thailand and that, they're used as taxis. Do you know what I mean? They're just selling like hotcakes. So either way, from a worldwide perspective, they ramp up so quick, they can build them so quick. By the end of this year, I think we'll have about 6 different models out. When you think in 2023, so when they first came to the UK, that's incredible. Absolutely amazing that they'll have that amount out, because obviously later in the year we've got the C line coming out, and we've also got I think the C line actually is probably basically out now, really. I'm going to take a run to my local BYD soon. I've changed BYDs from Birmingham to a place called Hereford, which is closer to me, and I'm hoping to get down there and get a good relationship with them, and I can start maybe getting some loaners out from them on some of the cars, so we can have a look at some of them other products, including the BYD Atto2 when it comes out, but that won't be till the summer now. Great time, by the way, to bring a car out in the summer. It's going to have your best efficiency, your best everything, and all that kind of thing. So but anyway, yeah, so going over some of the spec side of things, then it doesn't have a front trunk. It's got a sunroof, as I've said before, glass roof in all models, which is really good. I think it's heated seats in all models as well, and heated steering wheel. No cooling, still. Don't know why they don't at least offer that for summer times and stuff, but anyway, yeah, so that's it, guys. So that's just a roundup really of the BYD Atto2 coming out in the summer. Like I say, as soon as one comes out, I'm going to try and get my hands on one, and let me know in the comments what you're getting on your winter speeds and that. Are you happy with getting 69 kilowatts? Oh, by the way, I was asked a few questions a little while ago. Do I actually fast charge all the time? Because that can't be good for the battery, which is actually true. And no, I don't fast charge all the time. I tend to video a lot at fast chargers, but I've got some local slow chargers that I use in between times to obviously keep the battery a bit healthier, because obviously just fast charging all the time isn't good for any battery. So whether it's a lease car or not, I still have a passion to protect the car in that regard. But I do a lot more fast charging than most other people probably do, for the fact I don't have a home charger. That's a whole new topic about home charging and lack of, and I'm hoping to get a few people on the channel relating to that side of things, because we need to start looking into a lot more push from the government, from the councils, from local authorities, from local charge providers. We need to start getting a lot more slow charging in areas where there isn't a drive and stuff where you can have a home charger, because you cannot be expected. And we need to also be fighting for this 20% VAT on fast charging, which is criminal. For those that don't have a home charger, they're being slapped silly. Well, basically, you could argue if you take that off, you could actually halve virtually over a year or something, make a massive difference to how much you're paying on your charging. So but anyway, that's it guys. I just thought I'd do this quick video on that. It's not really a charging test video, it's more about the BYD Atto2, just to give you the specs that have come out that I've got. Obviously I haven't got my hands on a vehicle yet. There are videos out there, you know, go and try electrifying.com. I've got quite a nice one of it on there, and a few others. So yeah, there's some changes to things like the like here, and let me just turn, etc. So these, let's just turn that out a little bit. Like these along the bottom here, you can now move, you hold them down and move to different places and all that kind of thing on the new updates. I think there's more apps as well, things like YouTube and stuff like that on there. So you've got all that kind of thing. So, but outside of that, it's more kind of thing really. There's not an awful lot of difference. So, but what I'll do is what I'll do is I'll come back to you soon about some other things going on. Probably got one or two videos in mind to do as well, but that's just it for now. I have another channel now, so I've got two channels, totally unrelated to this one. That's a Liverpool Football Club one. So if you're a Liverpool fan, come and check me out. I'll leave the description in the bottom, but that's something way off what this is all about. But yeah, so I'm kind of working on both sides. The thing is with this car, as I've said so many times before, is, you know, it's pretty hard for me to keep doing videos about this particular car right now because you've seen everything. I mean, you can just go back on the, you know, you can just go back on the backlog and see things you want to know, specific things about the car, whether it be the vehicle to load, space in the vehicle, the software stuff, road trips, all that. It's all on there. So just go and check all those out. Well, moving forward, we're going to be trying to get a lot more charge operators on. If I can get hold of some important people in areas of home charging, I really want to go for that, because if you're in the same position as me, you don't have a home charger, there has to be more solutions, a lot more solutions, and it needs to be sorted out pretty rapidly really, because you know, 2030, when there's the cutoff, isn't that far away. So yeah, that's all of that. So I'll catch you on the next one guys, and yeah, as I say, go and check out the BYD Atto2 where you can. There'll be pictures on here for you to look at it, but like I say, I've just given you a very basic, I've given you some of the basics of the boot size, the interior, the charging speeds, and all that kind of thing, how much you're going to get roughly to a charge, and all that sort of stuff. So that's the basics I've given you there really. Some of the little quirks and that, obviously we'll have to get one on test to try that at some point. But anyway, have a great weekend. It's Saturday here today, so this will be up on the channel soon, and you have a great week guys, and I shall catch you soon.